as far as party, and I did read that Minnesota case, and it does say, we did say our positions on things, even though these judicial canons say we're supposed to claim that we state no position or make no promise other than the faithful performance of our duties. The canons. To answer your question about party, when I came back here in 83 from law school, I was Judge Benzine's clerk. Judge Benzine used to be a Republican, and he switched over and joined the Democratic Party and wanted me to join the Bay County Democrats. And I said, well, Judge, I'm really not a member of any party. I've never been a Democrat or a Republican. He says, well, the Polish people in the South End are more conservative than you or I. They're the party in power in this community, and you really need to join the Bay County Democrats. I didn't join the Bay County Democrats. I didn't join the Bay County Republicans. I'm not a member of a party. I'm a person. Thank you.
For you that have not seen my my brochure, I did get the Right to Life Political Action Committee endorsement. So I guess that answers question 1. Let's go to question 3. I have friends that are Republicans. I have friends that are Democrats. I came to Bay County, got hired in the law firm of Blasky and Hegley. I was looking for a job, wanted a job. Tony Blasky told me, you're a Democrat. And I became a Democrat. I didn't even know what, kind of what one was, but I wasn't really politically affiliated. And he really looked at me, are you stupid? And that's the actual look he gave me. He was like, wow, you get involved, okay? And they had their viewpoints, and I went to Jefferson Jack, and I cleaned chickens, and I did things in my first year here. Yeah, I learned a lot in that, okay? But I'm running for judge. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm nonpartisan. The third question, I like Darren's answer. That take a lot more deep thought than not giving it, and I don't want to shoot off the cuff and stuff like that. But I know that the things we're needing to deal with now more are gay people and homosexuals and that, and how to handle those types of situations. And we have to be sensitive to it. But I'm not in a position today to give any views on that. I think you know one thing right now, that I am pro-life and that I'm nonpartisan. Thank you.
I also received the PAC endorsement from Michigan Right to Life. Mark and I both have that endorsement. So that would answer question 1 for you. With respect to question 2, what we're dealing with in that situation across the board, whether you believe that gay and lesbian couples ought to be able to adopt or not, what we have to deal with is the rights of the child. The child has 2 parents, whether we believe they should be male and female or they should be any combination thereof. We do have to look at the rights of the child. And if that is a person who has known that parent their entire life, and because that parent did not get good legal advice and set up an appropriate way for that child to be passed, if they were not the biological parent, we still have to think about that child. So I think that that's important to consider with respect to that, whatever your political views are, those are that child's parents. With respect to 3, I don't think there's anybody in this room who has any doubt as to what political party I'm affiliated with. Many of you know me from, met me initially at Democratic Party meetings. My mother, who is somewhere in here, where is my mother? There she is. My mother took me door to door for Carter when I was 4. I think I was 4 at that point. I remember making handmade buttons for candidates when I was about 6 or 8, and walking the neighborhood, desperate to get my favorite Democrat elected. That being said, this is of course a nonpartisan office. So those things, those pieces of you that you carry with you onto the bench, it does not make you a partisan judge because you have a life before you took the bench. I think you carry the things that you learned, the things that you value, the things that your family valued, You carry those things with you. And if you do not do that, then you have checked your heart. And that is an unfortunate thing to do when you're taking the bench.
Show of hands, can we go one more half hour, sit around for one more half hour? Will that be okay with most folks? Okay, we'll have 3 more questions and then 1 minute for each candidate to wrap it up. My question is, we seem to have more and more plea bargains these days. What role should a judge take in plea bargaining?
Well, obviously, plea bargaining is important in the process. It unclutters the docket for the court. It's part of life. There's nothing that's going to change there. There's always going to be the possibility of plea bargaining. Where a judge should step in is he needs to make it fair. He needs to get in there and make sure that the people are being represented involving the plea bargaining, both the victims, which are very important, and I believe today that they're just not represented enough, and the person who's taken the plea to make sure their rights are not being infringed upon. And that's pretty much my stand on it. I believe that that's where a judge should step in and make those decisions and at least help in the process.
Years ago, I was an assistant prosecuting attorney. In fact, twice I served with Mr. Mollison as an assistant prosecuting attorney, and that was about 27 years ago. And now I can tell you that plea bargains are essential to the court system so the system can run along. But what we have to look at is what is a good plea bargain versus what is a bad plea bargain. Certainly, an attorney who is being paid and gets a good plea bargain that is going to make him look good for his client is going to say, "I got you a great plea bargain," right? But what about the defendant that's being treated by the public defenders, for example, Mr. Janey? If that plea bargain is offered to Mr. Janer is not as good as the one offered to the highly paid attorney, then we begin to worry what's wrong here. So the judge's role then should be, let us take a look at the plea bargains and make sure that everybody's treated fairly.
Well, plea bargains are similar to settlements and negotiations in the civil arena likewise. I mean, it's the nature of our practice, criminal versus civil, civil versus criminal. The question is there too much plea bargaining? And this is something that came up in one of the other forums where I indicated that the judge controls the docket, whether it's a civil docket or a criminal docket. Are pleas being offered because the people aren't ready? What's the reason for a plea? And that's where the judge comes in. Why is this plea being offered and why is it acceptable? And looking at that situation. As I indicated, I talked to a number of people before I began the campaign, and one of them was Sheriff Miller and his concerns about overcrowding in the jails. There are a number of issues that have to be addressed. The question is in Bay County, and that's why the judge needs to look at each particular situation. Thank you.
Plea bargains are necessary for our system to be able to work. There is a difference between a plea bargain and a sentence bargain. Plea bargain is the prosecutor saying to a defendant or the defendant's attorney, I'm going to reduce the drunk driving to impaired driving in return for your guilty plea. That's something the judge has absolutely no input into, and it's really none of the judge's business. A sentence bargain is something a little bit different. That's where the prosecutor says, if he pleads guilty to this charge, I recommend no jail time, or there will be no jail time. In that situation, a judge does have input, and has the authority to say, no, I won't agree with this. I think in this particular situation,